Hello everybody, Tyrone the God 3 here, and welcome to Dragon Ball Super Reviews. Today we'll be doing the review of episode 79. This episode is titled Universe 9's Basil the Kicker versus Universe 7 Majin Buu. This episode, man, it went a lot how I expected it to go, even though we got the previews and everything for it. But like this episode did a lot of what I was kind of already expecting from the beginning, where Basil is basically beating the crap out of Majin Buu, and then Majin Buu gets angry. What got him angry, though, is what's bothering me. Don't get me wrong, this episode did do a good job action-wise. Like, this was a very action-packed episode, and for someone like Basil, who I thought was basically just going to be a punching bag for Majin Buu during the second half of the fight, he kind of was that, but at the exact same time, they made him interesting. Like, they put in the effort to make him interesting. I don't know if he's going to reappear in the tournament, or are they just using these three fighters and then they'll switch to three other fighters plus 7 when it's time for the big tournament. But for this tournament, for the exhibition tournament, Basil is far exceeding my expectations as far as a fighter. For one, I didn't know how I felt about him being able to launch energy blast out of his feet, like with the kicks and everything. But then after closely inspecting it, I think it's kind of cool. And the fact that he's a kicking fighter, we don't get a lot of those in anime, except for like Sanji mostly. But like to see that he's just a fully kicking based fighter. He kind of reminds you of how Vegito fights in a lot of the video games, where they make him cross his arms and mostly use kicks. So that was kind of cool, and he basically does the casual Dragon Ball Z stuff, beats them all the way to the end of the arena, and then like is fast enough to volleyball them back and forth all over the place, or ping pong them, if you will. So yeah, we got a lot of the casual action, and Fat Buu basically is loving all of it until Hercule, or Mr. Satan, ends up getting hit by one of the debris of the rocks from a attack that Basil launched. Now, the problem I have with this is the deities should have obviously had some type of barrier. Like, I don't see how the gods and the angels didn't set up some barrier to protect from the attacks. I mean, they did it in the Universe 7 and Universe 6 tournament. This should be nothing compared to that. I don't see how in the hell was that ever an issue. Like, why didn't we just set up a shield? That would have been easy. It felt kind of like there wasn't shields set up specifically so that can happen, and so that we can get our Toppo reveal, because Toppo does reveal himself in this one as well. And if you don't know, Toppo is one of the fighters that's representing, and he's one of the Pride Warriors, and he's also representing one of the fighters, I think, in Universe, I want to say Universe 2? Or Universe 11, one of the two, I can't remember. But yeah, so it kind of feels like some odd steps were taken out just so that Majin Buu can get triggered, because it was too hard to get Fat Buu to actually get in there and fight. And given Fat Buu's abilities, Quaman actually talks about this in one of his videos. Fat Buu is really OP, to be perfectly honest. Like, Fat Buu can absorb on a dime, he can learn moves on a dime. His absorption circumstances are really wonky and so unbalanced. He can take pieces of his body and make multiples of himself. Yeah, it's just craziness. But it seems here that in this exhibition match, because in the big tournament, the actual Tournament of Power, there will be rules. But as far as this tournament, it appears that there's no rules. There are no rules. And the reason that there are no rules in this tournament is because it's strictly based on the Zenos and how happy or excited they get in the tournament, in the exhibition tournament. So if Zenos find something that's unfun or boring, then they gotta axe it and keep the fight going. So basically the fight can go on as long as it can be until the Zenos are fully satisfied, which, okay, and then Goku kind of feels the same way. He obviously he knows proper tournament etiquette, but like Goku is getting excited just like how the Zenos are getting excited, and to see Majin Buu and Basil fight the way they were fighting, which didn't disappoint, I will say, it was a really good fight. So to see it go out the way it was going out, that was cool and all, and I do like that, and it does show why the Zenos favor Goku so much. The thing about it is, like I said, the only thing stopping this episode from being really, like, okay by my standards is this just silly thing set up specifically so that Majin Buu can get angry. Why was there no barrier so that Mr. Satan can get hit? Now, granted, I would have been actually kind of cool with Mr. Satan just acting, faking like he got hurt specifically so Majin Buu can get rage. That seems like something Mr. Satan would do, and that seems like something that would happen in the actual, like, setting in which the world is being drawn. But here, they've set no barrier, and they have Mr. Satan get knocked out purposely, specifically so that Majin Buu can get angry, and I feel like that wasn't the right route to go. I feel like they should have made Basil just strong enough to annoy the crap out of Majin Buu, and then Majin Buu just turned the thing around. It's just like the Majin Vegeta fight. That's how it could have happened, but it wasn't that way. We also see that Basil ends up getting this, like, food, and I don't know if all of the Trio of Dangers, because that's what they're called, the Trio of Danger. All of the 3 Universe 9 fighters are called the Trio of Danger. I don't know if they all get this or just Basil, but Basil ends up eating this drug, and this drug pumps up his body and makes him far stronger and faster of a fighter. I actually do like that. Although, like I said, this rule was basically allowed only because it would make for a more interesting fight. So determining whether or not they'll be able to use it in a tournament of power is still up for debate. But when he ends up doing that, they explain, Majin Buu has the ability to heal too. And then they're like, that's just one of Majin Buu's abilities. Granted, Majin Buu is very OP. So there's going to have to be some really strong warriors, or Buu's just going to have to fall asleep and get DQ'd or something. Anyway, the fight basically ends with Fat Buu using the Kamehameha. It ends up hitting Basil, and Basil's drug basically, I think, just reaches its cooldown point. So now the drug is stopped, and he's no longer able to retain that form anymore. It takes all the damage at once and gets knocked out. And then the next fight is going on to its place. It's Gohan versus Lavender. And obviously, a lot of people know from the previews that Gohan's going to have quite the disadvantage because of something that was stated in this episode. In this episode, Goku and the others can't sense Lavender and Basil's energy. Now, I don't know if this is the fact that it's the Trio of Danger specifically, or is this all of Universe 9, or is this just going to be all the fighters just to set an even playing field with the Z Warriors? But I think that this ability, and I wish this was only limited to the Trio of Dangers, and the reason I say that is because they're all supposed to be wolves, right? Well, wolves are supposed to be hunters, and as a hunter, you're supposed to be an expertise at hiding your presence, which is why I feel like there should be that should be the key reason why they can't sense their energy. I hope that's not a thing for all of them, just to set a level playing field and to raise the stakes, because then it's already unbalanced anyway. Goku and Vegeta are stronger than practically any of the normal fighters. The only fighters that could probably keep up with Goku and Vegeta are Hit, and the Pride Warriors. That's about it. So I really don't see, because if they make all the other fighters that strong, then that means our universe has a big disadvantage because everybody except Goku and Vegeta. And then we run into our whole Universe 6 versus Universe 7 problem that I had. So, with Gohan's sight and sensory being cut off, he's going to have to rely on a sense of hearing and possibly smell. So, yeah, me personally, I hope Gohan loses that fight just to give him a kick in the butt to realize, this is what's been happening since you've been out of the fighting game. Like I said, I was always down for peaceful father Gohan living his life. I've never had an issue with him quitting fighting, but if you're gonna bring him back as a fighter, you might as well develop him correctly, and that's the only way I can see it. If they make him win this fight out of pure BS, I'm gonna be pretty upset. He needs to lose as far as I'm concerned. But what are your thoughts? And what are your thoughts on episode 80, which is Awaken Your Sleeping Battle Spirit, Son Gohan's Fight? I'll see you all then, everybody. Tyrone the God 3 out.